So now that we've cleared up what it means to find a note that's a minor third above a note, right? Then we are now set to figure out the notes of the minor scale. So if you take a look at 3.3 on the online textbook, our next concept to figure out is something called the relative major and the relative minor. Right? If you look at the two examples of the scales on the textbook, so you have a C minor scale and C major scale that's written out. If you take a look at the C minor scale, it has three flats in the key signature, which means that B flat, E flat, and A flat are always going to be flat in C minor. And you'll of course notice that that's the same key signature as E flat major. So E flat major and C minor share the same key signature, which means they also share the same notes. Every time you play an E in C minor or E flat major, that's going to be an E flat, for example. So B flat, E flat, and A flat are all there are necessary flats for both C minor and E flat major. Because they both share the same notes, we call these two scales relatives of each other. So C minor is the relative minor of E flat major, and E flat major is the relative major of C minor. Right? So what's the relationship between these relatives? You'll notice that the tonic of a natural minor scale will always be a minor third below the tonic of its relative major. So C minor, C, let's see, I'm going to write this here. C minor is, this tonic is C, okay? The C is always going to be a minor third below the tonic of its relative major, which is E flat major. Right, so the relationship between these two will always be a minor third. Right? And the E flat here is a minor third above the C. Okay? Why is this information important? Well, if we know this relationship, and if we know how to construct major scales, in order to construct a minor scale, all we need to do is find its relative major. Then we know what are the sharps and flats that are necessary for that key. Okay, so let's take a look at how this would work if we're looking at writing a minor scale, the natural minor scale starting on C, the C minor scale. So in this case, I already found out that the relative major is E flat, because this is this is a minor third above C. Okay, so the first thing to do is to write out the notes of the E flat major scale. Okay, so I'm going to use here my treble clef. Okay, and I'm going to use I'm going to start with E flat, and this is, you can use key signatures, you can use whole whole half, whole 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 half, anyway to figure out all the notes of the E flat major scale. So E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Okay, so that's the E flat major scale. Now, in order to find the notes of the C minor scale, this is really just one more simple step, is that instead of starting on E flat, we're going to start the scale on C, which is the sixth scale degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right here. I'm going to rewrite the scale using C as the beginning. Okay, I'm going to rotate through the whole scale and get back to C. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. I'm going to shift the camera a little bit so you can see the staff. Okay, so instead of starting on E flat, I'm going to start on C. And for our purposes, it doesn't matter what C, so you can start on a lower C. So here I'm going to start on the C here, with one ledger line, and I'm just going to go up using all the notes of the E flat major scale. So C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Right. So the only thing I did here is I was writing still the same notes of the E flat major scale, but I was starting not with E flat, but starting with C. I'm rewriting it from C to C. And this here, what we just wrote, are the notes of the C minor scale. And as you practice these concepts in class worksheets, but also in Musician, I would suggest that you go through this process on paper first. The first step is to just write down the minor scale that you're trying to find. Let's say it's F. Okay, we talked about F in the previous video. Okay. F here. Yep. Let's say it's F, right? And the next step you need to find is what is this relative major? And that is going to be a minor third above the F. So we found out that minor third above the F is A flat. Oops, A flat. Okay. And then the second step, right, is to write out the notes of the major scale starting with A flat. And you can use your method here with either using key signatures or whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and find the notes of the A flat major scale. Finally, you write that down, and then finally you rewrite the scale using those same notes, not starting on A flat, but starting on F. And then you'll have the F minor scale, right? So it's basically the same process that we went through here. Okay. Again, we started by finding the notes of the relative major, the E flat major scale. Okay. I'm rewriting the scale. Instead of starting on E flat, I'm starting on C, and that became the C minor scale. Okay. So take a look at this and practice it on Musician.